This is the Stop Time Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Hopkins, and I'm here to engage you in thought-provoking, motivational conversations around practicing the art of living in the moment. I'm a certified life coach, and I'm excited to dig deep and offer insights into embracing who we are and where we are at. So I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. I first met sisters Mary, Maggy, and Marta at a recording session in New York City last fall, and I knew immediately we needed to chat, and that beyond what was clearly some extraordinary talent and work ethic lay three unique human beings. The Moipay triplets, yes, I said triplets, are from Nairobi, Kenya, and have been singing together since their musical journey began as children with their sister Serafina. At the age of 12, they were appointed Kenya's first ever UNICEF Child Ambassadors, championing girl child empowerment, education, and alternative rites of passage. Their notability grew and grew in Kenyan musical scene, and they were appointed as the Kenyan Musical Ambassadors and were awarded the Head of State Commendation by the President of Kenya in recognition of their outstanding contribution to the music industry and the nation. Now living in the U.S., the adult sisters are taking New York City by storm. Moipay made their New York City debut at the Mabel Mercer Gala at Jazz at Lincoln Center Rose Hall in October 2021. The following week, they made their debut at the internationally renowned Birdland Theater and are preparing for their Kennedy Center debut in April. Critics are saying they are beyond reproach. Every word, every note, every harmony, all have perfect placement and flawless execution. Their enchantment, either as singers or as people, will bewitch all who see and hear them. And it is in that context that I invite the magical Moipay sisters to join me today on Stop Time. Please welcome Maggy, Marta, and Mary. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your origin story and when you got interested in singing and in music. When's the earliest time that came up for you?
This is Maggy.
All right, Maggy, what do you think?
It seems strange, but when I actually started thinking, wow, we knew was almost in college, and that's about 8 years ago when we started. Because from when we were kids, our parents got us into music. We started to compete, and we noticed that every time we sang in the competitions, we always won. So for me, the first thing with music is that I liked the feeling of winning. So I liked singing because we always won when we did it. So that was my first addiction with performing with this guy. But then when we went to college, now we had our voice teachers there who were teaching us about how your body should feel when you're singing, how you should treat your instrument, what you should do to make your instrument grow better. And that's when I actually loved the art of singing. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. That's really, thank you for sharing that. That was very honest too, right? I mean, as young children, winning is a very important and exciting thing, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I usually don't like, this is Maggie, yeah. Yes, I know participation is good, but I'm there for the trophy.
How has that changed for you, if at all?
It's exactly the same.
I think it's gotten worse.
Yeah. Especially if you like pit the three of us against each other. Oh.
That's so interesting.
You're very competitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And what about you, Marta? What's your earliest recollection of singing?
My earliest was in church. We were singing, and this was the first time ever we sang in front of an audience. And we were singing, teach me thy way. Yeah, but I remember I was supposed to sing, was it the third verse? I was supposed to do the solo. And boy, those lyrics were in my head until the moment I was supposed to do the solo. And they just flew away. And our mom had to run to the front with the lyrics. And she was like, oh, Marta, enjoy. And in Swahili, she was saying, here, the lyrics. And I was so freaked out, and I took it up and I started singing, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is going
But
on?
you know, the funniest, there is a picture, our mom has it, that I stood there and the picture was taken, I had covered my eyes. Because I was like, I
She was-
cannot.
Yeah, but Maggie was embarrassed on my behalf. But still, even through that, what I felt from the congregation in church was just people still appreciating what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
even
if-
7 years old.
Even if I was 7 years old, they still appreciated even if I messed it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is how it is. I can deal with this. I can keep going. This is something I would enjoy. So
That's so cool, because the difference between what you just said, Marta, and what Maggie said, right?
yep.
Mhm.
It's so opposite, right? If you
Yeah.
get the words, we're not going to win.
Yeah.
She's covering her face, right? And
She always wanted to win.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
People always say I'm like the shy one. So doing solos in front of people is not something I enjoy. These guys are always nudging me to do the solos, and I'm always like, no, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
But
and it's still the same
It's
till today.
stayed the same throughout.
But at least you realize that there's safety and that they love you even if you make a mistake. So that must help, right?
That is
Yes.
questionable.
Let's hear from Mary. Mary, what about you? What's your experience?
Oh, my first one was at the Kenyan Music Festivals. And I remember we were in the plenary hall. That's what they used to call it. Right?
Yes.
And we were singing Lift the Nights from Elijah. And it was right before we started. And that time our youngest sister, Serafina, she was still too young to sing. And her job was to give us the key. So she was with our mom at the piano, and she was supposed to give us a C major chord, or was it
No,
a
D
D major?
major.
Yeah, D major. And at that time, she seemed so far away because we were on stage. And
We
our
were so
dad,
small.
we were so tiny. The stage was big. We were right in the middle. And our dad used to stand just off the stage, and he would conduct us. And I remember him telling us, just look at me. You don't need to look at anyone else. Look at me and sing the song. Reach the end and you're fine.
Yeah.
And that's my first memory of just being incredibly nervous because we were in front of so many people.
But you see,
It was full.
the thing about that performance is that the person who went before us was a comedian.
Yes.
And
I
he
remember that
brought
too.
The crowd was electric. They loved him.
They loved
And I remember telling our mom, oh, no one is going to listen
Are we going to
us.
be as good as that?
Exactly.
That was what I was asking. And we were what? 9
We were
years
just
old.
9
Yeah.
years old. But we walked on stage and we sang. And the silence
when they listen.
yeah, the silence of people listening to us. Those, after singing in church, that's the second most, like, what is the word?
Poignant. moment.
Poignant. Yeah.
Moment of impact.
Moment of impact. I remember it forever.
And so then those things, those fears and that competitive nature and the trust and all of that, how has that sort of manifest? That was a long time ago, right? Now you're 29, if I'm correct, right? 29 years young, and you're now living in a very competitive country. So talk to me about how competition and nerves and all those things factor into what you're doing now.
I love it. It's very strange because we never like to say that we are scared. Every performance, I will always get nervous, but we call it, I am thrilled because there is fear and excitement mixed together. And to me, that is how I define thrill, being thrilled about something.
Yeah.
And many times right before we go on stage and we're always singing jitterbug.
Yeah.
That's our song.
That's our song because you're nervous. And I'm like, I don't know why I do this to myself every time, but I love it. I will do it every single day.
Yeah.
But once you get on stage, just like when we were 9 years old, it just fizzles out.
Yeah, because this is Maggie. Once again, you learn to trust yourself.
Yes.
You have learned the music. You have mastered how to sing it
You practice
to the very best of your ability in that moment. So just sing and let your voice go and trust in yourself.
And the
Believe in
people with you
yourself.
on stage.
Yeah, and the people who are with you on stage. Because boy, and this is a very, very true thing about myself. So many people can believe in me, but if I don't believe in myself, it's like I don't end up
It doesn't
anywhere.
matter.
It doesn't ever matter, because that is something I had to change in my mind. Because everyone would tell us from when we were kids, wow, you guys are good. You're going to make it. You're going to go places. And I was like, oh, thank you. But I'm not sure I believed it until very recently. So being in this country where the competition is rife, really, I think it's very positive, because now I actually am, yeah, let's do this. Let's fight for it.
Yeah, I love that. That makes sense. Bring it on, right? Let's go.
Yeah, bring it on.
Why do you guys do what you do?
Honestly, why do we do it?
You know, for me, I feel like we have been doing it for the longest time. I don't remember a time we were not singing. Do you guys
do it
remember?
because you've always done it.
But I feel like the moment when I see someone in the audience
React,
crying, and especially crying, because funny songs are cool and all, but when I see audience members crying specifically, I'm like, this is why I sing. Because I know that in some way I'm making a difference, and I've reached out to them in a way that's transcendental and it's existential, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because when I think about the voice, many people use their voice to speak.
Yep.
But somehow all of us are able to use our voices to speak and sing as well. And I'm fascinated. Before, I was fascinated with the fact that we sing. I was always fascinated with singers, because you open your mouth and there's a sound that comes out,
and you don't even know where it's coming from.
Because the voice is such an invisible instrument. Most of the time, I'm still learning about my voice. Many times, I still don't know what is going on in there. But my voice shows up, and it sounds the same every time I sing. And I'm like, wow, the fact that I can sing means that I should keep doing it, because it's a gift and not everyone has it. And so many people want it. So I should use it.
Absolutely. And what if, God forbid, you could not sing? What would you do?
It's very tough, because I honestly don't know what I would do. I would have to reach that.
To me, there is no reality that's a reality. That's an actual.
I'm very hopeful with how I think about life, because there is so much to be fearful about. So I only ever focus on the good. Yeah, I hope for the best always. So my reality is always that I will be singing.
Yep. And the universe knows that I have said, when I stop singing, in fact, I don't, even when I finally leave this realm of mortality, of existence, I will continue to sing. So there's no idea of stopping to sing for me.
And I believe that
simply doesn't exist.
Even before I came here, I believe I was singing.
Yep.
That's beautiful. What is the best thing about working together? Mary, why don't you start?
With these guys, I don't spend too much time trying to be the nicest person. Well, I'm being nice. It's just that I don't care too much about feelings, because everyone gets it.
Yeah.
I can ask Marta here something in a way that if I would ask someone else, it would
come off as rude.
It would come off, yeah. But here, we understand each other in a way that there's no pretenses at all.
Yeah.
And I think that is just, it's easy. It's a breath of fresh air.
Does anything get in the way of you guys working together because you're so close?
I think you can be a bit harsh sometimes, don't you think?
Yeah. I'm always watching it, because Maybe I'm mean sometimes.
But we check her.
Yes, exactly.
That's funny. Well, okay, let's do this. Let's play this game. So if you had to choose one adjective to describe each other, what would it be?
Yeah, I think Mary is the most, she's very
Responsible.
dependable.
Well, you say dependable.
Yeah,
Marta says responsible.
about Mary, yes.
Yes.
Mary, how do you respond to that?
I take my job very serious.
Yeah. You do a lot of the organization, Mary, is that right?
That is true.
Yeah.
I think it varies. It's just we share it equally.
But
Yeah.
when it comes to learning a new song, she's the one who will find the scores.
Mm.
And once we finish, well, it's shared, but most of the time she's the one who transcribes the music.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
yes, she is responsible in that sense.
And Mary, what adjectives do you have for your sisters?
For Maggie, flamboyant.
Yes.
Flamboyant?
So, interesting.
In terms of your character. It might not be how you dress or how you look, but it's your character.
Interesting.
And even like when we when we want to pose for a photo, you always want your hands out.
But of course.
You don't want you always want it to be the flashiest.
Okay. And for yeah, Marta.
I don't know, it's not an adjective, but you remember when I said I felt like describing you as a vegetable. It's more like an onion. She has so many layers.
Mm.
And I think most of the time she lets people see only one.
Mm.
But there are so many layers under there, and they are all hilarious.
Interesting. Marta, what do you think about that?
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because sometimes I say the most inappropriate things. So I feel like maybe that's why I take a step back, because when I actually open my mouth, the things that fly out, they need to be censored.
No, but you see, sometimes you just say the truth as it is. And
Yeah.
sometimes the truth needs to be handed as it is.
Our sister Serafina back home in Kenya is like that too.
Yeah.
That's
She's
interesting.
just like that.
So you're careful about what you say because you have this power to really hit the truth, right?
Yep.
Which is
Your
really
hand
which is a
no
gift,
work.
which is a gift actually, but it's one that you're not comfortable with, kind of like, which is why, forgetting words or technical things kind of protect you from really, because God forbid, what if you went out and just improvised? You'd probably be amazing.
That would be so funny.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to, you'd survive, right? I mean, I bet Maggie would.
Yes. Totally.
She would.
Super interesting. I love that. So what if anything stands between you and how you want to be in the world?
It can be just my mind.
Yeah.
Your mind.
Yeah, because there is so much untapped potential. But I've noticed that we spend a lot of time thinking about what we don't want instead of just thinking about the things we want and just be open to them coming to you.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So it's my mind and I'm working on it.
Mm.
And sometimes being like just what we were talking about earlier, how I'm always guarded and I don't want to be so always thinking about what's the right thing to say, am I doing things the right way? It's just better to be free with yourself and just let people see you for who you are.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
I need to
get
let
that.
go.
Let it go.
Well,
I
it's
get-
interesting because there's a real difference between needing and wanting. If you say need, it implies that you're lacking something. You're not lacking anything.
Mhm.
No,
I
you're not.
want
I'm
to
telling
let
you, you're
go.
not. I mean, none of us are lacking anything, right?
Yeah.
When we
Mhm.
say we need, it's like this implied external kind of, something's missing. Well, so it's interesting because in my work as a coach, I always say, well, do you want or do you need? So I'm asking you, Marta, do you want or do you need to do
Oh,
this?
I want, because I know I have everything within, but I'm not always letting it out.
Yeah. So what's the worst thing that could happen? What is your mind telling you that it must be telling you a story strong enough that you don't do it? So what kind of lie is it telling you?
I guess it's just always the fear of rejection. People reacting in a way that I'm like shunning me away if I let them see the true me. So I'm like, I'm not really sure I want people to see me. So I'm like, but I want to let go of that whole idea.
When you live in that want, and I feel it, it's visceral, right? I feel you saying, no, I know. And even Mary said it too, you know, I have passion, I have this untapped potential. It's interesting. What is it that you see, any of you, if you relate to this? Like, what is it that, because the pictures that we paint in our mind to keep us safe, we can also paint pictures in our mind of what it would be like in our potential. And if we live more into the story that we see, we can create that. So I'm just curious if you can give me a sort of sense of what that might look like for each of you in whatever's holding you back. What's on the other side of that?
What's on the other side? It's just complete abundance.
And what does it look like? What would you be doing differently?
I'll be waking up whenever I want.
The simple things.
Yeah, it's literally the simple things.
Okay.
Simple things. I decide I want to wake up at 8. I can wake up at 8.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
What else? There must be more, right? That's not potential so much as responsibility, actually. Not right. I mean, you probably feel you have a responsibility to get, I'm guessing, tell me if I'm wrong, but I have a responsibility to get up because I said I would, and I need to do these things. Is that what I'm hearing you say? Like there's an expectation that you need to do this?
Yeah.
Because it's not hard to get up at 8 if you want to. Because you could do the other stuff the other way, or you could, I mean, those are just mechanics, right? It's like technique in singing, right?
Yeah, you know the way you were talking about needing and wanting.
Yeah.
Well, now, like you wake up in the morning and you're like, the first thing you say, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to wake up. I'm like, I want to wake up, and this is what I'm going to do because it's my choice. Yep. No one else has any driving force. It's me.
Yeah.
I'm the one who is writing this story.
I love that. So, but what needs to be in place for you to be able to do that?
That's a good question. Because these have been very internal conversations. Let me tell you. One of the, at least for me, one of the things that need to be in place is just the power of positive thinking. And it might sound very simple, but it's so easy to always imagine the worst case scenario. Yes. I go on stage, and my first, I'm like, if you make a mistake, just hide it. Just hide it. Don't make them know you made a mistake. But I want to always be like, you go on stage, I'm going to do it right. Precision. So it's just the power of positive thinking right from the start, and not lying to myself, because sometimes you're just pretending that things are fine, but you need to believe that they are.
And believe 100%.
Yeah.
Unequivocally. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Always learning new words.
Yeah.
It's a good word. Well, it's interesting because you're talking still in a kind of binary, like in a win-lose frame, positive or not positive, positive or negative. But it's interesting because I believe in, what do you think about the concept that, you know, winning and losing are kind of an illusion, right? Unless you buy into them, unless you say there's only two things that could happen. I could forget my words, or I could remember my words, but there's an infinite number of things that can happen between a perfect performance and an imperfect. And sometimes the imperfections are where new things grow. They're scary for sure, because especially when you're used to succeeding and you're used to doing things as best as you can. But we all know that things aren't perfect all the time, right? But if you trusted that, and if you were able to put your faith in a belief in yourself, in another value other than winning or losing. You could still win all the time, you know, to your best ability. It's not that you're not going to, but if you don't, it's still a win because there's something to learn. There's, or, you know, if learning is a value of yours, or there's something, you know, maybe you connected in a different way. I mean, an audience seeing you mess up publicly you might actually open up even this conversation. Someone might listen to it and go, wow, they're so perfect. How can they be worried about that? Well, you know, so it's great. Cool. So how do you want to be remembered?
I guess as someone who stopped being unconscious. So getting unconscious and getting back into what the old ways,
default.
what my mind is used to, what my body is just naturally used to. But I would just like to break out of that and just see what else is there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love that. Why is that important to you?
Because I know that once I accomplish that, I'll have conquered myself in some way. Because I will know what I'm truly capable of.
Beautiful. That's really interesting. Yeah. What about you, Maggie?
I want people to remember me as someone who helped the next person. As cliche as it might sound, I build myself up. I help the people around me. So create a chain that will continue for so many generations. Yeah. I want to have that legacy. Someone to know their worth from the beginning. And once you know that, you teach the next person how even they can see themselves as the magnificent that they are.
That's beautiful.
I feel like many people throughout history have been told that, oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, you can't do that. But imagine untapping that generational curse and someone realizing that they are so much more than what they have always thought. And now that person teaching the next person that, and then that person teaches the next person that. I feel it'll reach a point that we as human beings will become our higher self. And all these silly hatreds between each other will cease to even make sense. And I feel that people will now actually live in peace. Because I see the wars that are there and I ask, what? Why? Why is that war?
Was there someone that did that for you guys or for you? Maggie, was there someone that inspired you and told you that you're a champion? Do you know what I mean? From the beginning, was there someone that showed you that, or did you need to find it yourself? Or
Oh yeah, I would say our parents did from the beginning. If there is people who have believed in us about everything, it's our mom and our dad, and that I owe to them every single day. That's why we have reached where we have reached. Yeah. And I'm glad that they believed in us, because in the beginning, I didn't believe in myself. I was just doing it because I like to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too, because in my research, I mean, it seems like your country believes in you as well.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Do you think you're going to want to go back one day after you conquer the rest of the world?
I will always, because I always feel I have this concept in my mind that where I was born is my first home. Wherever now I land, now that's my home.
And that's how I would want to be remembered.
Yeah.
The person who belonged everywhere.
I can live in Senegal and I am fine. I can live in Italy and I'm fine. I live here, and you have that sense of belonging, because that feeling of being an imposter is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, I feel like you could be, like 5 years, 10 years from now, as famous as you become or whatever, if that's what you want to do, that you're not going to change. I get the sense that that won't change you. You're still going to walk into a studio and be the same way and be impressed with the other people and all, right? Am I right about that?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a humility.
Humility is very important in our house.
Yes.
Humility. Yep. That's what I was hearing. So was that probably like a number one value that you were taught in the beginning?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
our parents taught us that from the first day.
I love it. And so how would you define, I mean, I know what humility means, but how do you guys define it? I'm just curious. Maybe you have a different sort of subsection of what that means in action. What does humility in action look like to you?
That's so interesting because I never think about it.
Yeah.
It's like how you
It's
treat just how it's always been.
Yeah. But also how you treat the people who you don't think can help you. I don't know how to put it
Yes.
in words. Because like if you see someone who is going to help you,
You're
get to the
extra
next
nice.
step. Yes, you're extra nice. But then if you meet just a random person,
How you treat strangers.
yeah, someone who is not going to be a part of your big journey, and you just randomly see them, how do you treat them?
It's interesting. Do you think your parents taught you that because they knew that there was a lot in store for you and they didn't want you to get ego and
Yeah. Yeah, it was just as simple as that. Back to the winning. When you win, you can't just show off. It was just that simple. That's what humility is for me. If you get something great, I get my Grammy, it's not the time to start showing off.
Because for me, it's a turn on.
Yeah.
I am amazed by people who are doing extraordinary things, but are so ordinary in how they carry themselves, how they treat people. We have met with celebrities, and the ones who I love most are the ones who just, they're so normal.
so 5 years, 10 years from now, and everything goes as you hope it will, where will you be? Where do you see yourselves 10 years from now? Or 5, whatever feels more easy to.
The number one value that I'm after is freedom. So in those 5 years, I will be free. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And you?
It goes back to what I said, how I want to be remembered. In 5 years, 10 years from now, I just want to be everywhere. I want to see every place on this planet. Because there is so much out there that is so interesting. I mean, being in the US in itself is so cool. And it's amazing how you see all these different cultures in one place. In Kenya, you are going to see a lot of maybe only one thing or two.
Yeah, because it's that thing we always say. In Kenya, we have 42 different dialects. So the different languages spoken influence your accent. But then now we came to the US and primarily English is spoken. But different accents. You go to Texas, there's a different drawl. In New York, in Jersey, the Midwest, in LA. I am fascinated by that. And the whole idea that Americans have never thought that there's such a thing as an American accent. And it's so cool because it's there. Trust me, it's there. You guys have an accent.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what about, do you think you'll be singing together 10 years from now still?
Oh, yeah. And we were talking about that just the other night.
Yeah.
No matter what you said.
Yes, I said, I don't care what you want to do with your life. We're going to keep singing. If you want to take a break to do your own solo work, that's fine, because we also like to do some solo stuff. You can do that, but just know once you're done with that, we continue with Moipay. So all of us are in agreement. There's no one who's going to bring in some interesting business.
I love that.
Martita.
Do you think one day there'll be mini Moipays? There'll be like other children coming in?
That one, I've even stopped answering that question because I actually don't know. I will let the universe tell me. One day, because sometimes I feel like I get messages from my dreams. So I will wait for that message to come through.
Yeah, absolutely. I say yes. That's amazing. Let me ask you a couple more things before I let you go. I want to speak to you all day, but I can't. Okay. Let's do the rapid fire. So I'm going to say what makes you, and then I'm going to say a word, and then you say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. So what makes you hungry, starting with Marta? Go.
Popeye. The smell of roast chicken.
Okay, are we speaking of hunger?
But I feel like Vegas.
Oh,
Vegas is, I would love
There's
to
a
do
consistency.
showcases in Vegas.
there's a consistency to Vegas.
Yep.
There sure is.
5 nights a week doing shows, the 3 of us with a 3-piece band. Man,
That
I'm
sounds
hungry for that.
Positively delectable.
I'm ready for that.
The universe will deliver.
But
You put it
also
right out there.
see-
Well done.
Yeah, seeing people who are not necessarily famous, but they're succeeding in silence.
Yes.
That makes me hungry. Hungry for that.
I love that. What makes you sad?
Routine. Doing the same thing over every day.
Yes.
Because with the touring, it's eclectic because no venue is ever the same. So you never really build a performance routine. So
Mhm.
there's always a thrill to it. When you're just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's the thing that makes me sad is the idea that someone had a dream and they died before they achieved it. I try not to think about it all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's that sad, man. No wonder we have ghosts.
Mm.
People are still trying to finish off.
Yeah.
Mm. What inspires you?
David Foster.
I was just going to say the same person.
I just look at David Foster and I'm fascinated by him.
Mhm. Yeah.
But what about you, Mary?
I don't know whether it's not as, it's many people, but seeing the people who have somehow managed to crack, they're living their dream board.
Yes.
That inspires me. And I like to see that all the time because it just fills me with the best energy.
Mm. Because it seems possible.
Yes, because it is.
Because it is possible. Yeah. What frustrates you?
Things happening too slowly.
Having to be patient.
When the dominoes are distracted.
Yeah.
They're
Mm.
looking the wrong way. Dang it.
The dominoes are not, the right domino is refusing to tip
Yes.
quickly.
I love that. It's a really great analogy because dominoes need to be perfectly aligned
Yeah.
in order for it to. And there's a sense that you guys know that
Yeah.
and you're waiting for it. That's interesting.
I always think of success as the right domino because there's so many of them. There's
So many possibilities.
so many possibilities. But the right one needs to fall so that
it
the next
sets
one
a
happens.
chain reaction.
Yep. You need a good chain reaction.
And that takes years. I always look at Justin Bieber. By the time he became an overnight sensation, there was so many years of tipping different dominoes, and then finally Usher came.
So right now it's not that we are waiting, it's that we are working towards it. Because waiting is it's a waste of time.
So you're lining up, you're building, you're setting up the dominoes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not like they're there and you're waiting for someone to tip it. You're building the dominoes. Yeah, yeah. And then Probably it'll be you that tips it.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. What makes you laugh?
People being themselves. As long as you try to be funny, you don't cease to be funny.
Animals being themselves is hilarious.
Yeah.
But also there's something about how the voice sounds when it cracks.
Yes.
Because my voice cracks sometimes when I'm singing. And boy, we can be doing a very serious performance. And I would just be like, I'm sorry. Let me just stop right there. Laugh.
What makes you angry?
People not following through on their promises.
Yeah.
That angers me on another level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, Mary? What makes you angry?
For me, it comes from within. When I've been following these steps towards thinking in a different way, and just one thing happens, one word is spoken, and quickly I revert back.
What are you grateful for?
For these guys. For me.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm grateful for my voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also for every opportunity that has led me to this spot right now. Because I remember us exactly 10 years ago. And I remember exactly where the three of us were sitting on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember what we were saying.
Yep.
Mm.
And I'm seeing where I am.
10 years ago would be freaking out if I could see that I'm actually in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you tell younger self that you know now that younger self might wanted to have known?
You get there. So stop freaking out.
Yes, it's in
Oh, I
fact
love
it's
that.
just that.
Yeah.
Don't freak out.
Well, it's kind of funny too, because Maggie, you know, when you're talking about your legacy and about leaving behind, it's kind of a cool thing to go back and tell your younger self who's still with you,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. You've got this. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know, it's pretty cool.
I
Pretty
wish
cool.
I could see the future me, because I know about the past. I want to see the future.
Yeah. Well, the future is going to be what you create,
Yeah.
you know? And so you can build it one domino at a time and enjoy building the dominoes, and the rest will fall as it should.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are the top 3 things that happened so far today?
I guess one of the top moments of today was I teach little children classes.
Nice.
And this little girl, and she must be about 3 months too. She can't walk yet, but I had knelt down and I was singing, and let me tell you, the girl crawled her way to where I was and started climbing up my shoulder.
Oh my God.
And I always look forward to seeing her, because I know I was like, what is it gonna be this time?
Someone told me that I looked elegant today.
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys never tell me that. So I thought that was special.
That is
Because the word elegant and me, Marta, never feature in the same
They're not
sentence.
sympathetic.
I love it. Oh my gosh. What's something you're really looking forward to?
The Kennedy Center. That means so much
Yeah.
to us. It's a place that we've seen from afar for so long. And for it to finally make its way closer, and you can actually see it here, and we're going to go and perform there. That is truly exciting.
Yeah.
It
For
is
me, it's
indeed.
more right now. We are learning a new song, and we really struggled learning it yesterday. I don't think we
didn't
We didn't do anything.
So I'm really looking forward to actually sitting down and finishing it and unlocking the rest of them because it's a whole show.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
learning this one song unlocks everything.
It's
Wow.
the domino that needs to be tipped.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you guys. That's really wonderful. Listen, I really appreciate you being here today and having this conversation. I know how busy you are, and I was really excited to get together with you. So thank you for spending some time being in the moment with me.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us. Yes, you definitely asked some questions, and we need to find the answer.
Yeah.
And I've been speaking today with Mary, Maggie, and Marta of Moipay. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. And remember to live in the moment. In music, stop time is that beautiful moment where the band is suspended in rhythmic unison, supporting the soloist to express their individuality. In the moment, I encourage you to take that time and create your own rhythm. Until next time, I'm Lisa Hopkins. Thanks for listening.